Welcome to Heart Over Gold, the channel where love, kindness, and humanity shine brighter than any fortune. In today's story, in the heart of the city, billionaire Alexander Hart was known for his sharp suits, colder heart, and an empire that left no room for distractions. But one ordinary morning inside his glass-walled office, his world shifted when a little girl with curly blonde hair, Lily Carter, walked in clutching a cleaning rag instead of a toy. She wasn't there to play, she was helping her mother, Emma Carter, a hard-working single mom who cleaned offices to make ends meet. What began as a simple encounter between a powerful man and a small child quickly unraveled into something neither of them expected. Behind Lily's innocent request and Emma's quiet strength lay a story of resilience, second chances, and a love that would change Alexander's life forever. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments, and keep up with our latest stories. A child's desperate request, a billionaire's life forever altered. In a world ruled by wealth and status, where every choice is calculated for profit, sometimes a single unplanned moment can disrupt everything. That moment came when Lily Davis, with tears on her cheeks, approached the wealthiest man in the city, Ethan Thorne, pleading for her sick mother's life. Ethan never expected that one small girl would rewrite the direction of his own future. It was a Friday afternoon, when Ethan stepped out of his glossy black Mercedes in front of the city's tallest skyscraper. At 42, he had amassed a fortune that made him one of the most powerful men in the country. Yet behind the empire, his life was a cycle of boardrooms, multi-million-dollar deals, and endless strategy sessions. Human connection had been absent from his world for years. Dressed in a tailored Italian suit, he walked with the air of someone convinced that money could purchase everything expect. Loyalty, even affection. Inside the lobby, the polished marble echoed beneath his shoes as he made his way to the private elevator bound for the 50th floor. A critical meeting with Japanese investors awaited him, but fate intervened. A technical issue halted the elevator at the 15th floor. Irritated by the inconvenience, Ethan reluctantly stepped out, heading for the stairwell until a small voice stopped him. "Excuse me, sir." He turned to see a little girl with messy pigtails and a faded blue dress standing nearby. Her shoes were scuffed, and her face was streaked with tears. Yet it was her eyes, large, sorrowful, and far too knowing for her age, that captured him. "What are you doing here? Where are your parents?" Ethan asked, scanning the area. The child stepped closer, clutching a wrinkled paper in her hand. "My mum is upstairs, on the 18th floor. She's sick, but she's trying to get a job. Please, can you help her?" Ethan frowned. The 18th floor housed small law and accounting firms. It seemed odd for a sick woman to search for work there. He sighed. "Little one, I'm sure your mother can handle her own business." "I have an important meeting, please," she interrupted, her voice trembling. "You look like someone who can help. My mom needs medicine, but no one will hire her because she faints a lot. Please give her a chance." For a man used to people asking for investments, loans, or favors, Ethan was stunned. This wasn't greed, it was desperation. Something in her sincerity cracked the walls around him. "What's your name?" he asked softly, kneeling down. Lily Davis. My mom's name is Sarah. And what kind of work is she looking for?" "Anything," Lily replied quickly. "She can cook, clean, babysit, or work in an office. She used to before she got sick. But she lost her job when she missed too many days for the doctor." "And what's her illness?" Ethan asked. Gently, Lily's eyes welled again. "It's her heart. The doctors say she needs surgery, but it costs too much. We don't have money. And your father?" "I don't have one," Lily answered simply. "It's always just me and Mum." The simplicity of her words cut. Through him, Ethan had encountered countless people trying to use him, but this little girl wasn't. After his fortune, she was simply pleading for her mother. "Lily," he said quietly, "let's go see your mum." Her face lit up as though he'd handed her the world. Moments later, the elevator doors opened on the 18th floor. Lily guided him to a waiting area where a frail woman sat in a plastic chair, looking exhausted. Though she couldn't have been older than 30, her illness made her appear years beyond. When Lily ran to her, the woman's face softened with a weary smile. "Mum, this man wants to help you," Lily announced proudly. Sarah Davis stood carefully, gripping the chair for support, and extended her hand with a nervous smile. "Thank you for being kind to my daughter." "I'm Sarah." Ethan shook her trembling hand. "Your daughter tells me you're looking for work." "Yes," Sarah replied quickly. "I have administrative experience, but I'll do any job I'm capable of. I just need someone to give me a chance." Ethan paused, realizing he was making decisions entirely outside his nature. "Can you come to my office tomorrow morning? I believe we may have something for you." Sarah's eyes widened, disbelief written across her face. "Truly? What kind of job?" "We'll discuss that tomorrow," he said. He handed her a card. When Sarah read the name, she gasped. "You're Ethan Thorne." "The same," he said. Sarah's voice wavered. "Mr. Thorne, I don't know how to thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Ethan replied. "Let's see where this goes." For the first time in years, Ethan cancelled a multi-million-dollar meeting. Because, deep down, he knew what was about to unfold on the 18th floor mattered far more. Carmen looked at him as if he had completely lost his mind. "Mr. Thorne, the meeting with the German investors has been scheduled for 2 months. "Reschedule it," Ethan replied. While checking his email, something more important came up. More important than a $50 million investment. Much more important. Carmen was silent for a moment, studying her boss. In 8 years of working for him, she had never seen him prioritize something personal over business. "May I ask what's so important?" "A 6-year-old is going to play a tree in a school play, and I promised her I'd be there to see it." Carmen blinked. "Excuse me, did I hear that right?" Ethan smiled. "And before you ask, yes, I've completely lost my mind. And no, I don't care." Thursday arrived, and Ethan found himself sitting on a tiny plastic chair in the first-grade classroom of the local elementary school, surrounded by parents and family members. He was the only man in a $3,000 suit, and definitely the only millionaire in Therum, but he couldn't have been happier. "Are you Lily's dad?" asked a woman sitting next to him. "I'm her uncle," Ethan replied, and was surprised by how natural that word sounded, coming from his lips. "She can't stop talking about you," the woman continued. "She says you're the best uncle in the world." Ethan felt a warmth spread through his chest. "She's the best niece in the world." When the curtains opened and he saw Lily standing on stage in a homemade tree costume, holding her arms like branches, and with a smile that lit up the entire room, Ethan felt something he had never experienced before. Pure paternal pride. "That's my Uncle Ethan," Lily shouted from the stage, completely breaking her tree character to wave at him with one of her branches. Ethan waved back, not caring that all the other parents turned to look at him. In thought moment, he wasn't the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. He was simply the proud uncle of an extraordinary little girl. The play was a story about the importance of caring for nature. Lily, as the wise tree, had to give advice to the other children on how to protect the environment. When it was her turn to speak, she cleared her throat with all the seriousness of a professional actress. "I am the wise tree," she declared, in a strong, clear voice. "I have lived many years and seen many things. I know we must take care of nature because it is our home." Ethan found himself recording with his phone, something he had never done before. He wanted to capture every moment, every expression, every word. After the play, Lily ran to him, still in her tree costume. "Uncle Ethan, you came. Was I a good tree?" "You were the best tree I've ever seen in my life," Ethan said, picking her up. "I'm so proud of you. Can we celebrate? Can we go for ice cream?" Ethan looked at Sarah, who had been watching from the back of the room, tears of joy in her eyes. She nodded with a smile. "Of course, let's celebrate." At the ice cream parlor, as Lily devoured a triple chocolate ice cream with colorful sprinkles, she told Ethan about everything she had practiced for the play, about her friends at school, about the homework she had to do that night. "Uncle Ethan," Lily sighed, "bet ween spoonfuls of ice cream. You have family, will I have you, too?" Ethan replied, "But do you have a mum and a dad?" Ethan felt a pang of sadness. "My parents died when I was young. I don't have brothers or sisters." "So, you were alone?" Lily asked with the direct innocence of a child. "Yes, I've been alone for a long time." Lily put her small hand on his dot. "Well, you're not alone anymore. Now you have me and Mum." Ethan felt tears sting in his eyes. "You're right. Now I have the best family in the world." "You know what, Uncle Ethan?" Lily continued. "Mum says sometimes family isn't just the people you're born with, but the people who choose to stay with you." The girl's words struck Ethan like lightning. His life, he had thought that family was something you either had or didn't have. He had never considered that. It could be something you build, something you choose. "Your mum is very wise," Ethan murmured. "Yes, Mum knows many things, but she says you also know many important things." "Like what?" "Like buying kind to people who need help, like making scrambled eggs, like being the best uncle in the world." That night, after taking Sarah and Lily home, Ethan stayed awake, thinking about the girl's words. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone. He had a chosen family, a family that had formed not by blood, but by love, mutual need, and the simple decision to care for each other. The next day, he called his lawyer. "I need you to draft some documents," he told him. "I want to set up an education trust, and I want to make sure that Sarah Davis and her daughter, Lily, are financially protected, no matter what happens." "What kind of protection are you considering?" the lawyer asked. "Complete," Ethan replied. "I want them to know they will always be safe." Because he had learned something that all his money and success had not been able to teach him. The true wealth is not measured in numbers, but in the people who choose to love you and stay with you no matter what. And for the first time in his life, Ethan felt truly rich. A family grows, love, hope, and a new beginning. 2 months after the play, Ethan had established a routine he never thought possible in his life. Every morning before going to work, he had breakfast with Sarah and Lily. Every afternoon, he came home expecting to hear about their day. And every night, after Sarah took Lily to her apartment, he stayed in his kitchen, wondering how he had lived so long without that family warmth. Sarah's medical treatments had shown promising results. Dr. Carter, the cardiologist Ethan had hired, had adjusted her medications, and developed a treatment plan that had significantly stabilized her condition. Although she would still eventually need a transplant, it was no longer a matter of months, but years. The numbers are improving, the doctor had told Ethan privately. Access to quality medication, reduced stress, have made a noticeable difference. She is responding better than we expected, but it was a Tuesday afternoon when everything changed. Ethan had come home early expecting to find Lily doing homework as usual. Instead, he found the house alone. He called Sarah, but there was no answer. He walked to the kitchen and found a note on the table. Ethan, I had to take Lily to the hospital. She had an accident at school. We're at the general hospital, Sarah. Ethan's heart stopped. Without thinking twice, he grabbed his car keys and drove to the hospital faster than he had ever driven in his life. Throughout the journey, his mind raced with terrible possibilities. What kind of accident? How serious was it? Why hadn't he received a call? When he arrived at the hospital, he ran to the reception. I'm looking for Lily Davis. She's a 6-year-old girl who was brought in this afternoon. Are you family? The receptionist asked. I'm her uncle, Ethan replied automatically, surprised by how natural it sounded. Emergency room, pediatric section. Take the elevator to the 2nd floor. Ethan ran down the hospital corridors, his heart beating so hard he could hear it in his ears. When he finally found the pediatric section, he saw Sarah sitting in a plastic chair, her head in her hands. Sarah, Ethan ran to her. With a hand, where's Lily? Sarah lifted her head and Ethan saw that she had been crying. Ethan, thank you for coming. Lily is fine, but what? What happened? She fell on the playground. She broke her arm and hit her head. The doctors say it's nothing serious, but she needs to stay for observation. Dong-tont Ethan felt as if he could breathe again. Can I see her? She's asleep now. The doctors gave her something for the pain. How did it happen? Sarah sighed deeply. She was playing on the swings with other children. Apparently, some older kids were bothering her, telling her things about not having a dad. She got angry and tried to get off the swing while it was still moving. Ethan's blood boiled. What? Kids? What exactly did they say to her? Ethan, it doesn't matter. They're just kids being cruel. Yes, it does matter, Ethan said firmly. No one has the right to hurt Lily. Just then, a nurse approached. Miss Davis, your daughter is awake and asking for you. Sarah stood up quickly, but Ethan noticed she swayed slightly. Are you okay? I'm fine, just tired. It's been a very long day. They entered the room together where Lily was lying in a hospital bed that seemed too big for her. She had a cast on her right arm and a bandage on her forehead. But she smiled when she saw them come in. Uncle Ethan, you came. Of course I came, Ethan said, approaching the bed. How do you feel, princess? It hurts a little bit, but the doctor says I'll be fine. And look, she held up her casted arm. I can have people write things here. Can I be the first to write something? Ethan asked. Yes, a nurse brought him a marker, and Ethan carefully wrote to the bravest girl in the world. I love you, Uncle Ethan. Lily's eyes filled with tears of joy. That's the nicest thing Guignon has ever written to me. Lily, Ethan said softly, do you want to tell him what happened on the playground? Lily's smile faded. Some big kids were bon mean. What did they say to you? Lily looked at her mother, who nodded encouragingly. They said I didn't have a dad. That's why Mom and I were poor before. They said that nobody loved me. Ethan felt such deep anger that he had to make an effort to keep his voice calm. And what? Do you think about that? I think they're wrong, Lily said with a firmness that surprised both adults. Maybe I don't have the dad who made me, but I have the best uncle in the world. And Mum says love is what makes a family, not papers. Lily is right, Ethan said, taking her small hand. And I want you to know something very important. You have someone who loves you more than anything in the world. In fact, you have two people who love you that much. Two, your mum and me. We are your family, and will always be here for Yamuna. That night, Ethan insisted on staying at the hospital. Sarah protested, telling him he had work the next day, but he weighs. Sarah, I'm not going anywhere. Lily needs both of us here. Ethan, I can task you to do that. You've already done too much for us. You're not asking me for anything. This is what family does. While Lily slept, Ethan and Sarah sat in chairs beside her bed. It was the first time they had been alone together for an extended period, and Ethan realized that there were many things he wanted to know about the woman who had brought so much light into his life. Sarah, he said softly, may I ask you about Lily's dad? Sarah tensed slightly. What do you want to know? Whatever you want to tell me. I just want to understand better. Sarah sighed, looking at her sleeping daughter. His name was Mark. I met Jim in college. He was charismatic, fun. He made me feel special. But when I told him I was pregnant, he disappeared. Literally, he changed his phone number. He moved. I never heard from him again. Does Lily ask about him? She used Tohan. She was younger, but she hasn't mentioned wanting a dad in months. I think you filled that void. Ethan felt a pressure in his chest. Have you ever thought about getting married? About giving Lily a permanent father figure? Sarah looked at him with curiosity. Why do you ask that? Just curious, Ethan lied, though he knew it wasn't true. In recent weeks, he had begun to feel something for Sarah that went beyond the concern of an employer or even a friend. It was something he had never felt before. A deep protective love that made him want to take care of her and Lily for the rest of his life. Ethan, Sarah said softly, may I ask you something? Of course. Why did you never get married? Don't tell me you never found anyone. A man like you, successful, attractive, kind-hearted. There must have been many interested women. Ethan thought about his answer. There were some, but I always felt they were interested in Ethan Thorne, the millionaire, not Ethan the person. I never found anyone who loved me for who I really am. And who are you really until 2 months ago? I thought I was just a businessman. But you two have taught me that I'm much more than that. I'm Simeon, who can be an uncle, who can learn to cook, who can sit on a tiny chair at a school play and feel like it's the most important place in the world. Sarah smiled. That sounds like a man worth getting to know. Sarah, Ethan said, feeling it was time to be honest. I need to tell you something. What? These past few months have been the best of my life. And it's not just because of Lily, although she's extraordinary. It's also because of you. The way you take care of your daughter. The way you handle everything with such grace despite everything you've been through. The way you've made me feel like part of a family. Sarah was silent for a moment. Ethan, you don't have to say anything. Ethan continued quickly. I just needed you to know that I admire you very much. That I've fallen in love with you. The words hung in the air between them. Sarah looked at him with an expression Ethan couldn't read. You've fallen in love with me? She asked softly. Yes, Ethan admitted. I know, it's complicated. I know I'm your employer. I know your priority is Lily. I know you might not feel the same, but I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. Sarah reached out her hand and took his dot. Ethan, I've fallen in love with you, too. Ethan's heart stopped. Really, how could I not? You saved my life. You gave my daughter an uncle who adores her. You gave me hope when I had lost all faith. But more than that, you gave me something I thought I would never have. A partner who sees me as I am, not as what I need to be. What does this mean for us? Ethan asked. It means that maybe, just maybe, we could be more than employer and employee. We could be a real family. At that moment, Lily stirred in bed, murmuring something in her sleep. Both adults turned to her, and Ethan could clearly hear what she was saying. Uncle Ethan, Mum, family. Ethan looked at Sarah, who had tears in her eyes. I think Lily already can see us as family, she whispered. And what do you think? Sarah asked. I think there's nothing in the world I want more than to be part of your two's family. Officially. What do you mean by officially? Ethan took Sarah's hands in his. I mean, I want to marry you. I want to adopt Lily. I want us to be a real family legally forever. Sarah gasped. Are you asking me to marry you? Yes, Ethan said without hesitation. I'm asking you to let me love you and Lily for the rest of my life. Yes, Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. Yes, of course, yes, and in the room, with Lily sleeping peacefully between them, Ethan and Sarah kissed for the first time, sealing a promise that would change their lives forever. The next day, when Lily woke, Upend saw both adults smiling radiantly. She asked with the typical curiosity of a 6-year-old, Why do you look so happy? Oh, because, Ethan said, I have something very important to ask you. What would you like your Uncle Ethan to become your real dad? Lily's sighs widened. Really, are you going to marry Mum? If you give your approval, Ethan smiled. Lily shouted with joy, so loud that the nurses rushed in to see what was happening. Yes, yes, I'm going to have the best dad in the world. And that's how a playground accident became a catalyst that transformed a working relationship into a real family built on love, mutual respect, and the promise that they would never be alone again. Adrian realized. The Thorne Davis legacy. 6 months after the proposal in the hospital, Ethan found himself standing in front of his bedroom mirror, adjusting his tie with slightly trembling hands. It wasn't nervousness about the commitment he was about to make, but pure excitement for what this day meant. After 42 years of solitude, he would finally have a family of his and Dad, Ethan. Lily's voice echoed through the house as she ran towards his room. In recent months, she had naturally started calling him that, and every time she did, Ethan's heart filled with a joy he didn't know was possible to feel. Princess Ethan turned when Lily ran in wearing a lavender bridesmaid dress. You look beautiful. You look very handsome, too, Lily said, hugging him around the waist. Are you nervous? A little bit, Ethan admitted, kneeling to her height. And you? No, I'm super excited. Today you're officially going to be my real dad. Ethan felt tears stinging his eyes. Over the past few months, he had been working with his lawyers to initiate Lily's adoption process. Today, after feuding, he would officially be so legal father. Lily, may I ask you something important? Yes. Are you sure you want me to be your dad? It's a very big decision. Lily looked at him with those big, serious eyes she had inherited from her mother. Dad, Ethan, you're already my dad. Today, we're just going to make it official. How do you know I'm already your dad? Because you take care of Malachite, Dad. You help me with homework. You come to my plays. You read me stories before bed. And when I'm sad, you make me feel better. That's what dads do. Ethan hugged her tightly. And you are the best daughter a dad could ask for. Dad, Ethan, yes, after today, are we all going to live together in the big house? Yes, princess. We're going to be a real family living under the summer roof. Perfect, because I already chose my room. Ethan laughed. You already hose? Yes, the one with the big window that looks out onto the garden, so I can see the flowers Mum is going to plant. Perfect. Carmen appeared at the door. Mr. Thorne, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's time to go. Is Sarah ready? Ethan asked. She's in the car with the other bridesmaids. She looks absolutely radiant. Ethan had insisted that Sarah have the wedding of her dreams, no matter the cost. They had rented the city's most elegant event hall. They hired the best florists and invited all their important friends and colleagues. But what mattered most to Ethan was that Sarah felt like a princess on her special day. Ready to go get married? Ethan asked Lily. Super ready. The drive to the wedding venue was silent. Ethan looked out the window, reflecting on how completely his life had changed. A year ago, if someone had told him he was about to marry a single mother and adopt a 6-year-old girl, he would have thought that person was crazy. But now, he couldn't imagine his life any other way. When they arrived at the hall, Ethan was surprised by the number of people who had come. He had invited colleagues from work, business partners, and industry acquaintances. But what moved him most were the people Sarah had invited. Teachers from Lily School, neighbors from her old neighborhood, single mothers she had met in support groups. The difference between their two worlds was evident, but somehow everyone was there to celebrate their union. Mr. Thorne, feuding coordinator, approached. Are you ready to take your place? More ready than I've been for anything in my life. Ethan walked towards the altar with Lily by his side as his special bridesmaid. They had decided she would walk with him, symbolizing that the three of them were uniting as a family. When the music began and the doors opened to reveal Sarah, Ethan felt his heart stop. She wore a simple, elegant white wedding dress that enhanced her natural beauty. Her hair was styled in a soft bun, and she wore the pearl necklace Ethan had given her as an engagement gift. But what impressed him most was the radiant smile on her face. Sarah walked towards him, accompanied by Carmen, who had offered to escort her when she learned that Sarah had no close family. When she finally reached the altar, Ethan took her hands and noticed they were trembling slightly. You're beautiful, he whispered. You too, Sarah replied, and both laughed nervously. The officiant, a judge who was a friend of Ethan's, began the ceremony. Dear friends and family, we are here today to witness the union of Ethan and Sarah, and to celebrate not only their love for each other, but also their commitment to forming a family together with Lily. Ethan looked at Lily, who was standing beside him with a smile that lit up the entire room. She carried a small basket with rose petals, and had insisted that her job was to make everything super. Ethan, the judge continued, do you have vows you would like to share? Ethan took a paper from his pocket, but then put it back. The words she had prepared no longer seemed sufficient. Sarah, he began looking directly into her eyes. 8 months ago, he thought I had everything I needed in life. I had success, money, respect. Booty had no love, no family, no real purpose. His voice broke slightly. Thina, little girl, approached me in an elevator and asked me to help her mum. I didn't. Know that little girl was offering me the greatest gift of my life, the opportunity to be part of a family. Sarah had tears streaming down her cheeks. Sarah, I not only love you, I love the strong woman you are. The dedicated mother you have been, the loyal partner you have become. I promise to love you in sickness and in health, in prosperity and in adversity. I promise to be the husband you deserve and the father Lily needs. Ethan, Tornado, Lily, and Lily, my princess, I promise to be the dad you've always wanted. I promise to be there for every school play, every math problem, every heartbreak, every dream come true. I promise to love you as if you were my own blood, because in my heart you already are. Lily ran to him and hugged him tightly. I love you, Dad. Ethan, there wasn't a dry eye. In the entire hall, Sarah, the judge, said softly, Your vows. Sarah wiped her tears and took Ethan's hands. Ethan, for years, he thought Lily and I were destined to be alone. I thought I had lost my chance to have a complete family when her father abandoned us. I thought my illness had ruined any possibility of finding true love. She paused, looking at Lily. But my daughter taught me that family isn't about perfection. It's about love, support, and the decision to stay together no matter what. She turned to Ethan. You gave me hope when I had lost all faith. You gave me health when I was sick. You gave me love when I felt invisible. But most importantly, you gave my daughter the father I always dreamed she would have. I promise to love you with all my heart. I promise to support you in your dreams and goals. I promise to be your partner in this life and in any other that may come. And I promise that together we will raise Lily with all the love we have. Lily, the judge asked, do you have anything you would like to say? Lily nodded seriously. Yes, I have something very important to say. She cleared her throat, as she had learned to do in her plays. Dad, Ethan, you came into our lives when we needed you most. You took care of Mum when she was sick. You took care of me when I was sad, and you gave us a family when we thought we would always be alone. Her voice grew stronger. I promise to be the best daughter I can be. I promise to help with chores. I promise to do my homework without complaining, and I promise to love you forever. Then Shell looked at her mother. And Mum, I promise to continue being your special helper and your best friend. Now, the judge continued, exchange rings. Ethan took Sarah's ring, a white gold band with small diamonds he had chosen because it was elegant but not ostentatious. With this ring, I promise you my eternal love. Sarah took Ethan's ring, a simple gold band she had chosen because it was classic and timeless. With this ring, I promise you my heart forever. But we have one more surprise, Ethan said, taking a small box from his pocket. Lily, this is for you. He opened the box to reveal a small ring with a lavender birthstone. This is your family ring. It means you are officially my daughter. Lily screamed with joy. It's the most beautiful ring in the world. By the power vested in me, the judge declared, I now pronounce you husband and wife and officially declare you a family. Ethan, you may kiss your wife. Ethan kissed Sarah softly and then both bent down to hug Lily. The three embraced as all the guests applauded and cheered. We are a family, Lily shouted. A real family. The reception was magical. Ethan had hired a band that played all of Sarah's favorite songs, and they had set up a special children's area where Lily and the other invited children could play. But the most special moment came when it was time for the first dance. Ethan and Sarah danced a slow song while Lily watched them from the main table with a huge smile. Do you know what's the most incredible thing about all this? Sarah whispered as they danced. What? That it started with a little girl asking a stranger for help. And now look where we're. We weren't strangers, Ethan corrected. We were a family that just hadn't found each other yet. After the first dance, Ethan invited Lily to dance with him. Do you want to dance with Dad? Yes. Lily ran to him and he lifted her so she could put her feet on his. As they danced, Lily murmured, Dad, Ethan, can I ask you something? Of course, Princess. Are we going to have more babies? Am I going to have little brothers or sisters? Ethan laughed. Would you like to have siblings? Yes, but only if they're as good as you and Mum. Well, that's something your mum and I are going to decide together. But if we have more babies, you would be the best big sister in the world. I know. I'm going to teach them how to make scrambled eggs and act like trees. The night continued with emotional speeches from Carmen, who spoke about how she had seen Ethan transform from a solitary man into a devoted father. Dr. Carter spoke a Butho. She had seen Sarah recover, not just physically, but emotionally by finding love and stability. And Lily's teacher spoke about how she had seen a child flourish by finally having a complete family. When it was time to cut the cake, Lily insisted on helping. It's our family cake, she declared. We have to cut it together. So, the three cut the cake together, with Lily in the middle and her new parents on each side. Let's make a wish, Lily said, all together. What do you wish for, Princess? Ethan asked. I wish that we'll be happy forever, and that we never have to be alone again. That's the best wish I've ever heard, Sarah said, kissing her daughter's head. And what do you wish for, Mum? I wish that my family always be healthy and happy, and that we never forget how lucky we are to have found each other, and you, Dad, Ethan. Ethan looked at his new wife and daughter, and felt his heart so full of love that he thought it might explode. I wish that this is just the beginning of a life full of adventures, laughter, and unconditional love. Perfect, Lily clapped. Now, let's blow out the candles. The three blew out the candles together, and as the smoke rose to the ceiling, Ethan felt as if all his dreams were coming true at the same time. Later that night, after all the guests had left and they had carried an exhausted but happy Lily to her new room in Thebig House, Ethan and Sarah were left alone in their room. How do you feel, Mrs. Thorne? Ethan asked, bracing her. I feel like I'm the luckiest woman in the world, Sarah replied. And you, how do you feel? I feel like I've finally found my place in the world, as if everything I went through before was necessary together. To you too, you know what I like most about all this? What? That it doesn't feel like the end of something. It feels like the beginning of everything. Ethan kissed her softly. You're right, this is just the beginning. And as they fell asleep on their first night as an official family, Ethan thought about the extraordinary journey that had brought them there. A child asking for help, a mother fighting for survival, and a man who had learned that true wealth is not measured in money, but in love. Tomorrow, his new life as a husband and father would begin, and he couldn't wait to see what adventures awaited them. A circle of love, the legacy continues. 2 years after the wedding, the Thorne family's life had found a perfect rhythm. Ethan had learned to balance his work with his family life. Sarah had blossomed in both health and happiness, and Lily, now 8 years old, had become a confident and radiant girl who flooded the house with laughter and energy. It was a Saturday morning when everything changed. Dagon Ethan was in the kitchen making pancakes, a tradition he had developed on weekends. Lily was sitting at the table telling him about her science project for school when Sarah entered with an expression he hadn't seen in a long time, a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Good morning, my love," Ethan said, kissing her on the cheek. "Did you sleep well, Ethan?" Sarah said, taking his hand. "I need to talk to you." "Is something wrong?" Ethan immediately asked, worried. For the past 2 years, Sarah's health had been stable, but there was always a part of him that feared the symptoms would return. "No, nothing bad," Sarah smiled. "On secondary, it's something very good. But I need to tell you in private. Mum has a secret." Lily asked, looking up from her orange juice. "Something like that, princess," Sarah replied. "Can you stay here finishing your breakfast while Dad and I talk for a moment? Can I put extra syrup on my pancakes?" "Of course," Ethan said, though his mind was completely focused on Sarah's expression. They went to the study and Ethan closed the door behind them. "What's wrong, love? Yahav?" "Me worried." Sarah took his hands and looked him directly in the eyes. "Ethan, I'm pregnant." Ethan's world stopped. "What did you say?" "I'm pregnant." 6 weeks. Ethan froze completely, processing the information. "Pregnant? Really?" "Yes, really. I went tooth doctor yesterday to confirm it, and the doctor says it's okay. With your heart condition." "That was my first question, too." Sarah smiled. "Dr. Carter says that with my current stable and well-controlled condition, I can carry a pregnancy to term without major problems. I'll have to be more careful and have more checkups, but it's possible." Ethan felt a wave of emotions. He didn't know how to process. Joy, fear, excitement, worry, all at the same time. "How do you feel about it?" "Honestly, I'm terrified and excited at the same time," Sarah admitted. "I never thought I could have another child. When Lily was born, the doctor said it would be too risky to try again. But now it's different. Now I have access to the best medical care in the world. Thanks to you, I have a stronger heart. Thanks to the treatments and I have a family that supports me." Ethan hugged her tightly. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Do you want to do it?" Sarah asked. "Sarah, there's nothing in the world I want more than to have occulted with you. But only if you're completely sure it's safe for you. I am Dot and Ethan. Is there anything else?" "What? Remember the night of our wedding when Lily asked if we were going to have more babies?" Ethan laughed. "Yes, I remember. Well, I think the universe was listening." At that moment, they heard small knocks. On the door. "Mum, Dad, I want to know the secret." Ethan and Sarah looked at each other. "Do you think she's ready to know?" Ethan asked. "I think she's going to be excited," Sarah replied. They opened the door and found Lily standing outside with her arms crossed and a very serious expression. "What's the secret? Am I in trouble?" "No, princess. You're not in trouble." Ethan laughed, picking her up. "In fact, we have very good news." "What news?" Sarah approached and took Lily's hand. "Honey, you're going to have a little brother or sister." Lily's eyes widened. "Really? Mum's going to have a baby?" "Yes, my love. In about 7 months." Lily screamed with joy so loud it probably echoed throughout the house. "I'm going to be a big sister. I'm going to have a baby. Are you happy about the news?" Ethan asked. "Super happy. I'm going to teach them everything I know. I'm going to teach them how to make scrambled eggs and act like trees and read and princess breathe." Sarah laughed. You have plenty of time to plan everything you're going to teach. Then, the following months were a whirlwind of activity. Ethan becometh most overprotective husband in the world, insisting that Sarah have weekly medical checkups and hiring a full-time to be available 24/7. Ethan, I'm pregnant, not sick. Sarah would protest when he tried to help her up the stairs. I just want to make sure you and the baby are perfectly fine, Ethan would reply. Sarah couldn't be angry with him because she knew all his overprotection came from love. Lily had become the most enthusiastic big sister to be in the world. She had started reading stories to Sarah's belly, insisted on helping decorate the baby's room, and had begun practicing diapers with her dolls. Do you think it's going to be a boy or a girl? Lily asked one afternoon while she and Sarah organized baby clothes. What do you prefer? Sarah asked. I don't care. I just want them to be healthy and like to play with me. What if they cry a lot? I'm going to sing them songs like you used to sing to me when I was little. Lily replied seriously. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. You're going to be the best big sister in the world. Mom, yes. Is Dad Ethan nervous about the baby? Why do you ask that? Because yesterday I found him reading books about how to be a dad. And when he saw me, he quickly closed the book. Sarah laughed. Dad, Ethan is very excited, but also a little nervous. It's the first time he's going to be a dad to a baby from the very beginning. Should help him? How? We can teach him everything we know about babies. I know a lot because I was a baby recently. That night, Lily implemented her plan. During dinner, she announced, Dad, Ethan, Mom and I are going to teach you all about babies. Really? Ethan asked, trying not to laugh. Yes, first you have to know that babies cry a lot, but it's not because they're angry. It's because they don't know how to talk yet. That's very important to know, Ethan said. And you have to be very gentle when you carry them. And you have to make sure their little head is always well supported. What else? Babies eat a lot. Like, a lot. And sometimes they spit up food. But it's not because they don't like it. It's because their stomachs are small. Lily, Sarah interrupted. How do you know so much about babies? Because the teacher taught us at school. And because I remember when I was a baby. Do you remember when you were a baby? Ethan asked. Yes, I remember Mom singing me songs and reading me stories. And I remember sometimes crying because I was hungry or sleepy. And what else do you remember? I remember Mum always made me feel safe, even when I was scared. Sarah wiped the tears that had started to form. And what do you think you need to know, Dad, Ethan? That babies need a lot of love. And that sometimes they'll cry at night, but it's okay. And Thathiel grows super fast. Princess, Ethan said, taking her small hand. Thank you for teaching me all that. It makes me feel less nervous. Were you nervous? A little bit. It's a very big responsibility to take care of a baby, but you won't be alone. Lily said, Mom and I are going to help you. We're a team, the best team in the world, Ethan agreed. When the 7th month arrived, Sarah developed some minor complications that required bed rest. Ethan immediately reorganized his entire schedule to work from home, and Lily had become her mum's personal assistant. Mum, do you need more pillows? Lily would ask every half hour, are you hungry? Do you want me to bring you something to eat? Do you want me to read a story to the baby? Lie. Love, you don't have to take care of me so much. Sarah would tell her gently. But I want to take care of you. You always took care of me when I was sick, when we're sick, when I was little and we didn't have much money. I remember sometimes you wouldn't eat till I couldn't. I remember you worked even when you felt bad. Sarah was speechless. She didn't. No, Lily remembered those difficult times. And now that we have Dad, Ethan, and we live in the big house, I want to make sure you and the baby are perfectly fine. Come here, Sarah said, opening her arms. Lily snuggled up next to her in bed. Do you know what I like most about all this? What? That my baby is going to grow up in a family full of love from day one. They're going to have an incredible dad, a big sister who adores them, and a mom who will never again have to worry about money or being alone. Mom, yes. Do you think the baby will look like Dad, Ethan? Would you like them to look like him? Yes, because Dad, Ethan, is very handsome and very smart. But I also hope they look a little bit like you. Why? Because you have the most beautiful eyes in the world. And because you are the bravest mom I know. That night when Ethan came home after a quick meeting at the office, he found Sarah crying softly in bed. What's wrong, love? Do you feel unwell? He immediately asked, worried. No, I don't feel unwell, Sarah replied, wiping her eyes. It's just that Lily told me a mything today that made me realize how blessed I am. What did she tell you? She told me she remembers when we were poor, when I worked sick, when we didn't have enough food. And she told me she's happy that our baby will never have to go through that. Ethan sat on the bed and hugged Sarah. You're never going to go through that again, I promise you. I know. But it's amazing to think about how our lives changed. 3 years ago, I was desperate, sick, trying to find a job to survive. And now I'm here, married to the most wonderful man in the world, expecting our second child. Second child, Ethan Lily, is as much yours as this baby will be, your only dad. She really remembers. You know what excites me most about all this? Ethan asked. What? That this baby will grow up seeing Lily as an example. They'll learn about kindness, generosity, and unconditional love by watching her, and they'll learn from you. I hope they learn that it's never too late to find a family that love'n't about blood, but about choice. That true wealth is measured in moments like these. Sarah took his hand and placed it on her belly. Feel this. Ethan felt a strong kick against his palm. Wow, that was strong. They've been very active today. I think they're excited, Tommy, to you. Do you think they know who I am? I think they know you're the person who's going to love them unconditional life. The rest of their life. At that moment, Lily appeared at the door. Can I feel the baby, too? Of course, Princess Sarah said. Lily put her small hand on Sarah's belly, and immediately the baby kicked. I think they're saying hi to me. I think they already know you're going to be the best big sister in the world. Ethan said, Dad, Ethan, yes. Can I ask baby a favor? What favor? I want to ask them to be born healthy and to make Mum very happy. Ethan felt tears in his eyes. I think that's the best favor anyone can ask for. And you know what else? What I want them to know, they have the best family in the world waiting for them. As the three stood there with their hands on Sarah's belly, feeling the baby's kicks, Ethan realized he had found something he didn't even know he was looking for. A purpose that went beyond himself. In 2 months, they would be 4. A family that had started with a child asking a stranger for help, and that was now growing with a new member who would be loved before birth. You know what's the most incredible thing about all this? Ethan murmured. What? Sarah and Lily asked at the same time. That it all started with the 3 most important words I've ever heard in my life. Help me. My mum is sick. And what are the three most important words now? Lily asked. Ethan looked at Thetua women who had completely transformed his life. I love you, family. Thundering legacy. A perfect circle of love. 10 years after the day Thatch changed everything, Ethan found himself standing in the same place where he had met Lily, the 15th floor of the corporate building. But this time, he wasn't alone. By his side was Lily, now a beautiful 16-year-old, and in his arms he carried Alex, his 8-year-old son. Howard inherited his mother's intelligent eyes and his father's quiet determination. Dad, why did we come here? Alex asked, looking around the waiting area where it had all begun. Because there's something important I want you to understand. Ethan replied, sitting on the same bench where he had found Lily as just a scared little girl. I saved you. Lily laughed. Dad, you were the one who saved Mom and me. No, princess. That day, I was a rich but empty man. I had all the money in the world, but I had no family, no real purpose, no love. I was so lost that I didn't even know I was lost. Ethan took the hands of his 2 children, but then a brave little girl approached me and said the words that would change my life forever. Help me, my mum is sick. And what did you think when you heard her? Alex asked. I thought it was annoying, Ethan admitted. I thought it wasn't my problem, but something in Lily's eyes made me stop. There was a purity in her love for her mum, a determination to fight for someone else that was stronger than anything I had seen in the business world. And then what happened? Then I discovered that helping someone else was the most rewarding thing I had ever done in my life. I discovered that being a father was better than being a millionaire. I discovered that the love of a family was more valuable than all the contracts I had signed. Sarah appeared at the entrance to the floor carrying a bouquet of white flowers. At 40, she looked more beautiful than ever. The medical treatments had been successful, and although she still had regular checkups, she had been completely healthy for the past 10 years. Are you ready? She asked softly. Ready for what? Alex asked. Today is a very special day, Sarah explained. Exactly 10 years ago, Yordad and I met when Lily asked him for help. And today, we want to do something special to celebrate. What are we going to do? We're going to help another family who needs exactly what we needed 10 years ago, Ethan replied. They went down together to the building lobby where Carmen was waiting for the MA with a huge smile. For the past 10 years, she had been much more than an assistant. She had become part of the extended family. Is everything ready? Ethan asked. Everything's perfect, Carmen replied. The Gomez family is waiting in the conference room. War. The Gomezes, Lily asked. They're a family going through exactly what we went through, Sarah explained. Maria Gomez is a single mother. She's sick and desperately needs work to support her 2 children, and we're going to help her. We're going to do more than help her. Ethan smiled. We're going to change their lives completely. When they entered the conference room, they found a young woman with 2 small children. Maria Gomez was around 28 years old. She looked tired and worried, but there was a something in her posture that reminded Ethan of the dignity Sarah had maintained even in her most. Her children, a 7-year-old boy named Leo and a 5-year-old girl named Maya, were sitting quietly beside her. But Ethan could see in their eyes some premature maturity he had seen in Lily when she was small. Miss Gomez, Ethan said, approaching. With his family, I'm Ethan Thorne, and this is my family. Mr. Thorne, Maria stood up, nervously. Thank you for seeing me. I know you're a very busy man. Do you know why I wanted to meet you? Ethan asked. Your assistant told me you had a job opportunity, but honestly, I don't understand why someone like you would want to help someone like me. Lily approached Maria and smiled because 10 years ago, I asked my dad for help when my mum was sick and needed a job, and he helped us in a way that changed our lives forever. You're the girl from the story? Maria asked in amazement. You know the story? Sarah asked. Everyone in the city knows the story about how the millionaire Ethan Thorne met his family when a little girl asked him for help for her sick mum. Well, Ethan smiled. Today, we want to create a new story. Your story over the next hour. Ethan explained the offer he had prepared for Maria. Not only did he offer her a job as an administrator for one of his smaller companies, but he also offered full health, insurance, housing, and education for her children. Why would you do this for us? Mary asked with tears in her eyes. Because 10 years ago, someone taught me that true wealth is not in what you accumulate, but in what you share, Ethan replied. And because we believe that Varion deserves an opportunity to have a better life. But what do you get in return? The satisfaction of knowing that are passing forward the gift we received. Sarah replied, the opportunity to teach our children that the purpose of life is to help others. Alex approached Leo, Maria's son. Do you want to be my friend? Really? Leo asked shilly. Yes, you can come play at me house. I have lots of toys. Lily knelt beside Mia. You know what? I was also your age when I met my dad, Ethan. And now I have the best family in the world. Really? Mia asked with big eyes. Really? And if you want, I can be like your big sister. Maria burst into tears. I can't believe this is real. It is real, Ethan said gently. But there's one condition. What? Maria asked, worried that one day when you are in a position to do so, you help another family who is going through the same thing. You are going through now. Is that all? We want this love, this help to keep growing and spreading to more families. Yes, Maria exclaimed. Of course, yes. After finalizing all the details and arranging for Maria and her children to start their new life the following week, the Thorne family headed to their favorite restaurant for dinner. The small restaurant they used to go to when Lily was little. Dad, Alex asked as they waited for their food. Are we going to keep helping more families? Would you like us to? Yes, I like to see people happy. And you, Lily, what do you think? I think we should create a foundation, Lily replied. Something official, something that helps single mothers and their children find jobs, medical care and opportunities. Ethan looked at Sarah in surprise. Have you been thinking about this? I have, Sarah admitted. Lily has some incredible ideas. What kind of ideas? Well, Lily said, grabbing a napkin and starting to write. We could help with jobs like you did with Mum. We could provide medical care. For sick mothers, we could offer childcare while mothers work. And we could give educational scholarships so children can go to college. And what would this foundation be called? Ethan asked. The Hope Foundation, Alex said immediately. Because that's what you give families. Hope, what do you twa think? Ethan asked Sarah and Lily. I think it's perfect, Sarah replied. And I think we should do it. And how are we going to finance it? Dad, Lily said seriously, you have more money than our family can spend in 10 lifetimes. Don't you think it's time to use it for something that really matters? Ethan wassled for a moment. Then he smiled. You know what? You're right. We're going to do it. 6 months later, the Hope Foundation was officially established. Ethan had donated half of his personal fortune to create a fund that would help hundreds of families each year. Lily had postponed her university admission for a year to help establish the programs, and Alex had insisted that part of his weekly allowance be donated to the foundation. But the most special moment came on the foundation's first anniversary, when they organized an event to celebrate all the families they had helped. "How many families have you helped so far?" a reporter who had come to cover the event asked. 50 families, Lily replied proudly. 50 mothers who now have stable jobs, medical care, and hope for the future. And how many children? 120 children who now go to school, have safe food, and know that there are adults who care about them. Alex added. "Mr. Thorne," the reporter asked, "did you ever imagine that a casual conversation with a 6-year-old girl would turn into all this?" Ethan looked around the room, seeing all the families they had helped. He saw Maria Gomez, HOA's now the foundation's operations director. He saw her children playing with Leo and Mia. He saw Sarah leading a discussion group on maternal health. "No," Ethan replied honestly. "I never imagined that asking a stranger for help would become a life mission, but now I can't imagine living any other way." What message do you want to share with other people who might be in a position to help? That help doesn't have to be big. Do be meaningful, Ethan replied. Sometimes all you need is to listen when Simone tells you, "Help me," and be willing to do something about it. And for families who need help, never be afraid to ask for help. And remember that a no doesn't mean there isn't another door that can be opened. That night, after all the guests had left, the Thorne family sat in their living room, reflecting on the day. "Do you know what the most incredible part of all this is?" Sarah asked. "What?" Theotha III asked at the same time. "That it started with a 6-year-old girl who loved her mum so much that she was willing to ask a stranger for help. And now that same girl, grown into a beautiful young woman, is helping other families find hope." "Mum," Lily asked, "yes. Do you ever regret raising me alone during those first years?" Sarah looked at her daughter in surprise. "Why do you ask that?" "Because sometimes I think if you had had help from the beginning, I wouldn't have had to struggle so much." "Lily," Sarah said, taking her daughter's hands, "every difficult moment we went through together brought us here. Every night I worried about money, every time I had to work sick, every moment of fear I felt, all of that was necessary for us to be on that 15th floor that specific day. Do you think destiny led us to Dad? I think love led us to Dad." Sarah replied, "Your love for me gave you the courage to ask for help. My love for you gave me the strength to keep going. And Dad's love for both of us gave Perpesetto his life." "And now what?" Alex asked. "Now we keep loving," Ethan replied. "We keep helping. We keep growing as a family." "Dad," Lily asked. "Yes, Princess. Thank you for listening to me that day. Thank you for not walking away. Thank you for being brave enough to ask for help," Ethan replied. "Thank you for teaching me that true wealth has nothing to do with money. What does it have to do with? It has to do with the people you love. It has to do with the difference you make in the world. It has to do with knowing that at the end of the day, your life mattered because you made others' lives better." Alex snuggled between his parents. "You know what's the best thing about our family?" "What?" everyone asked. "That we started with a little girl who needed help, and now we're a family that helps other little families who need help. It's like a perfect circle." "You know what, Alex?" Ethan said, hugging his son. "You're right, it's a perfect circle of love." And as the Thorne family prepared for the night, knowing that tomorrow would bring new opportunities to help more families. Ethan reflected on the extraordinary journey that had begun with 3 simple words. Help me, my mum is sick. Those words had changed not only his life, but the lives of hundreds of families. They had created a legacy of love, hope, and generosity that would extend for generations. And it all had begun with a brave little girl who loved her mum so much that she was willing to ask a stranger for help. Because in the end, that is the truth of love. It has the power to transform not only the people horse of it, but also the people who give it. And the circle continues.